Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I am your host, as always, Jay Villain, aka That Villain Jay. And with me, as always, my partner in podcast, the numbest of skulls.
Hey, guys.
Mr. Numbskull. Right there. Of course, I get a notification as soon as I'm doing the intro. He is here with the black background, the solid black background.
All black today.
Yeah, all the black shirt, the black background, everything, all black
shirt.
everything.
Well, there's a little bit of red, but that's because I play Rakdos sometimes.
Well, it's a little splash, yeah.
Sometimes we splash.
Because what do we got coming up, guys? I know what you're here for. DUSKMOURN, House of Horror. You got to say it like that. You got to say it real low and scary like that. They told us.
I don't have the radio voice like Jay. I'll let him do that.
DUSKMOURN, House of Horror. So it's finally here. Exactly 2 weeks after Bloomborough launched, so that was really exciting. We are here with our top 10, our classic, our much beloved top 10 favorite cards, including the Tier 0 card, and some honorable mentions of what we are looking at for the preview stuff of DUSKMOURN. All the cards have been spoiled at the time of this writing. We waited till we had a full grasp on everything.
Oh, we have them all.
We have them all. Thursday was the last day. I believe everything is spoiled.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, because today just felt like all commander cards.
It was all commander, and I think they crapped out all the commanders on the last day. I'm pretty sure we're fully spoiled because we are in early access next Wednesday, so we have 5 days to early access.
Yeah,
as of this recording. So, this is going to be our favorite cards, the ones we think you should take a look at. So far, we've had a pretty good track record about what we think is good and bad. I think we picked Sheldred a couple of times. So far, I think our best number one was Blood, our Vein Ripper. That was our best.
Vein Ripper, definitely. Vein Ripper and Sheldred, I think, were the two.
Vein Ripper and Sheldred were our best guesses.
Mm-hmm. What did we pick? What did we pick from Bloomborough?
We picked something weird, and it didn't do as well as we thought because Bloomborough ended up being all aggro.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we picked. I can't remember what we picked. I think it was a black card. I
know Season of Loss was up there. I don't know if it was.
It might have been Season of Loss.
Yeah. And we still haven't figured out how to make that work yet. Sadly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a 5-drop might as well be a 20-drop in Bloomborough currently.
Yeah.
We do get some hits, we do get some misses, but either way, we're gonna have a good time with this one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna get into. I'm gonna put timestamps in here. If you want to jump right to the cards, you can jump on the timestamps. If you're listening live, you gotta listen to us gab on a little bit because we're gonna go over our general impressions of the set, a little bit of news, and then we will get into the top 10 for DUSKMOURN. And we want to hear from you too. We want to know, what are your favorite cards? What are the ones that you are looking forward to? What's your secret tech that you think you're going to run in this House of Horror spooky set? Because it is spooky time headed into October. It's almost spooky season. So first things first, we'd love to invite you to join the Patreon, become a Black Council member, take your seat, take a black chair on the Black Council. In this spooky season, we'd love you to join our Patreon. You get access to our private Discord where we discuss things, have special videos put up. We do have some secret videos put up where you're going to have early access to our early deck builds and deck tech when we build DUSKMOURN decks for the upcoming early access and for the release. We're going to release some of our builds early first on the Discord and everything else like that. So we'd love for you to join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month, $1 episode, whatever you want to do. We're fully viewer supported. We haven't found any sponsors yet. Gamer subs, hit us up.
Any sponsors other than our patrons, basically? Other
than our patrons, we answer only to them. The council answers only to the council. So I would like to say, I will read off the names right now, which is going to be thank you to Zyran, Tanuki, Jason Flood, Just the One, Felipe S, Gyra 7, Neptune. Whoops, hold on. I'm not reading the active members. Boom. Zyran, Jason Flood, Just the One, Larry Mitchell, Aaron B, Rufus, Metal Mechanic, David, Notorious D, Deadfast, Argent Icon, W. Taylor, Lars Van Breem, Xylo Beast, Jamelzilla, Trexodactyl, Lord Gypticus, the Flipticus, Mamulian, Cassius, Nickelnuts, H-Man, Ulvir, Dante Valentine, Zaveritz, Clever Sounds, and Paradabo.
Hell yeah. Thank you, guys. We're glad you're still here.
Thank you so much for supporting us. If you want your names right off in the credits and to have access to all the different things that our patrons get, please don't hesitate to follow that link. You'll find it a bunch of different places, and join the Patreon today to help support the content we make. So with that all being said, we need to talk about, I think it's important to say congratulations to the champ, the store champ over here, still knocking him dead. This is, I think, like the third or fourth store championship that Numbskull has won.
No. The store champ. This is the first store champs I ever played in.
Oh, okay. So this is the first store champ.
I won an RC Cube, which is actually a little bit more higher stakes than a store champ.
Okay.
Usually it's more people.
Yeah.
But the store champs this time around was a big deal because of that foil Urza Saga.
Oh, okay. So you got a foil Urza Saga. I think you said you split the prize.
Well, yeah. So it was a full art foil Urza Saga. And you can only get it by winning a store champs, or if you want to buy it for $270, whatever it's going for now on TCG Player. And I mean, I traded it right away for cards that would be cards that were of equal value that I could sell separately or like keep some of them. The reason being, the value on the Urza Saga was going to go down, so I was like, I'll just take the cards that I know are holding their value instead of gambling on when I'll be able to sell this for full price.
Yeah,
rather than take the gamble and maybe it goes down, because eventually it's going to tank once the season stops. For this. But yeah, so I split the finals and gave the other guy all the store credit because he said he was just going to sell it to the first LGS that would buy it.
Yeah.
So I was like, you want to just take the store credit and I'll take the Urza Saga. He got like $104 store credit. It was $20 to enter, so it worked out for him. I probably got about $200 worth of cards then. Well,
all right.
Actually about 300, but I'm selling them all in one shot for about 200.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and
it'll be pretty good.
That's great. And you get the funds to reload and rearm for your upcoming.
Yeah, this will be helpful for when I go to DC. It'll help pay some of the costs because I'm still I'm gonna hopefully have that hotel room for it paid off. I think with this paycheck or the next one. So I'm working on paying off my hotel room as well.
And you are going to DC for the
regional championship.
Regional championships. That's
it's at SCG Con. Yeah.
Regional championships at SCG Con. He did win the RCQs. In case you're new here, that's what we're saying. What's going on? So Numbskull has been knocking him dead lately in the competitive Magic scene. We figured one of us in the podcast should know how to play Magic good. So he said, "I'll do it."
I'm decent.
He said, "I'll do it. I'll learn how to play Magic really good." Jay, you can remain a bum, and a bum I remain. So that's I figured we needed some sort of legitimacy of somebody who knew what they were doing, and that will be Numbskull for the foreseeable future. So
I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm getting there. Still working on it.
We're hoping that he does really good, gets on the Pro Tour. Or can go to the Pro Tour and we can officially say pro player Numbskull. We're looking forward to that, and then we're hoping he can also win the World Championships.
World Champion podcast.
As I say, it would be really good for podcast if we're like in case you want to hear what he's got to say. That we'll have to rename it to the Bum and the Champ. Unfortunately, So,
well, I'll be doing 2 RCQs this weekend as well now.
Fantastic.
So that's going to be modern. So I'll see if I qualify for the next regional championship. That's going to be next year. I think like late winter, early spring is what we're looking at, and I can go to either Raleigh, North Carolina.
Fantastic.
Or Portland, Oregon. North Carolina is closer. But going to Portland would be kind of cool. I've never been there before. Well, I've never been to either, but
Yeah.
it would be. I think either of them would be a fun trip. And the cool thing about the way they're doing it now is you can actually qualify for both.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
So if I get, a qualifying spot in 2 RCQs, I can go to Portland and I can go to Raleigh, which is kind of cool.
Fantastic.
Obviously, travel isn't cheap, and it's even more expensive to go all the way to the other side of literally for me, the other side of the country the whole way, because I'm in Pennsylvania on this end, and then Portland is on, the other end. So
the other end, yeah.
That'll be a hell of a flight. I'll probably get sick of it, but yeah, it'll be an experience for sure. And I've always wanted to go out west like that. So
that is great, and we are here to fully support your competitive career. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm working on it, man. We'll see.
We like I said, one of us had to be good at this game. So if we had any legitimacy unfortunately, I lost my streak. I had an unbroken streak of Mythic this year, and I lost it last month. So
yeah, I kind of stopped going so hard on it. I've been focusing a lot on paper, so I don't put too much time into Arena Ladder. Like I still stream it mostly, but I've also been people who've a lot of the people who watch the podcast come to my streams. They've seen me streaming MTGO a little bit lately too, because I've been playing Modern on there. So it's been fun, definitely.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed hearing a little bit more about Modern too. So it's been fun. It's definitely good stuff. Yeah. And we'll be supporting you, and we will be looking forward to doing the podcast about your epic win.
We'll see how it goes.
I will be looking forward to doing that one. That's one I'll be happily to sit down and record for. So, with all that being said, DUSKMOURN, it's here.
Yeah.
How are the vibes, man? What's the vibe check on DUSKMOURN? How you feeling about it?
Well, I think right from the bat, right off the bat, when they randomly revealed cards from that set way ahead of time, when they were like barely even revealing Bloomburrow.
Yeah.
There was a card in there that you and I were like, dude, this is going to be something.
Snake Veto.
Yeah. And we were kind of like the whole time we were like, all right, well, like Bloomburrow is going to be cool. We know it's going to be cool, but we're like really holding out for DUSKMOURN. So Jay and I have been waiting to make this episode for a little bit.
We love Mono Black. And this is obviously a horror themed set. Bloomburrow was fun. The little animals
cards
were cute.
I love my Grief Lizard. I think he's great.
Grief Lizard is fun.
There's some fun cards in it, and I love Bandit's Talent. Bandit's Talent won me that Urza Saga. That was that was the difference maker. Oh, and not to regress too far, but I won that event with the last deck that we played on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, if you're interested in seeing a championship deck, I'll have to make a post about that. Yeah, the deck that we played, it is arena legal. That is what he won the store championship with. So it is legit.
And it did well on the podcast episode, too. People did not want to play against it.
No.
And on Saturday, the previous Saturday, people did not want to play against it either.
Absolutely.
I beat another mono black deck, and then I beat Azorius, Haughty Jin, and Mentor. And then I beat Azorius Control. So it was like there was, you know what I mean? There was some like good decks, and there were some matchups that like aren't supposed to be favorable for me, and they ended up just not being able to be competitive when it came down to it, which was, well, I mean, they went to game 3, but game 3 was like, all right, I got this, So it was good. It was good. But sorry, I didn't want to regress too much. I just wanted to make sure we got that in there. Because
well, I'll put a card in.
That deck was the video did well. From what we can tell, you guys liked it. But if you're looking for a deck to play in the store championships, that is one right there. Or if you just want to do it for standard,
it has a proven track record.
It's good for arena. We have the standard RCQ season coming after the modern RCQ season. If you want to get into competitive Magic, you can do that. There may be some cards in DUSKMOURN that make the deck better too. We'll kind of examine that. And Jay and I always do the best mono black deck. When a new set comes out, so you'll be seeing that episode as well.
But
so we wanted to do our top, our I don't even know what perennial top 10, our every set top 10, if you will.
Every set top 10. It's our famous top 10.
And I can say confidently, and I'm pretty sure Jay agrees, that we'll preface it with this: we could have done, if we wanted to, and maybe in a place where we had more time, we would have done a top 10 of just black cards.
Absolutely,
there are that many good ones.
Black. Listen, if you're going to go for a horror themed set, Black better be bringing the heat, and they did not disappoint. Black is bringing the darkness, man. There was we were back and forthing a lot of these for a long time, and there is so many honorable mentions. There's so many cards. There's some good stuff in here. There's going to be some real big game changes, literal game changes with this set. Jay and I probably spent like a good half hour before we even started, like switching cards. Like, oh no, you got to take that one, man. No. I gotta that. We had a lot of overlap. With like within our top 5, well, we had a lot of mutual agreement, but we each have to give our own top 5, so we had to like compromise a little bit. A lot of handshaking.
I'll take this one.
A lot of horse trading.
So and we were like, oh, are we sure this one's good? Is this one bad? Is this one good? So, but we each have a lot of honorable mentions, and I think you'll easily see that we each could have given you 10 cards if there was enough time to go into detail about all of that,
Absolutely. And we're going to be doing some more stuff with it later. So stay right here for some more DUSKMOURN coverage. We're going to be doing more. And of course, we're going to be in early access doing decks, making videos. So I'm stoked. I like the vibes. I would say I like the vibes better than Bloomborough. Bloomborough is like, okay, this is cute, but DUSKMOURN with the horror movies and the references. I'm definitely feeling it, especially demon support. I've been waiting for demons to come back in a significant way for a while. So really the last time we had any really good demons was like Kaldheim, man, where they really laid out like demon tribal support. So
we have like one-off okay demons right now in standard, but now we're gonna have like, maybe you could actually make a straight up demon deck.
You could make it straight up. Yeah, you could definitely do like a demon devil deck. So who do we want to go first? Who's gonna win the coin toss on this one?
You read the patrons. You want me to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay, so we're gonna go with the first one here. It is Haunt Woods Streaker.
Yes, and
Streaker.
This one is
not Streaker. Shrieker.
Shrieker, and this one is one with a new mechanic on it. So I think that's a great start.
Yeah, and I do think, and kind of how I went about choosing my top 5 did have something to do with how the new mechanics are applied, and I chose them relative within my top 5 to the mechanics that I thought would be actually good and playable and useful and prevalent. So this is the first one here. It's Hauntwood Shrieker, colorless, 2 green, 3/3. It's a beast mutant. It is a mythic, but it's not legendary, notably here. But it's got a pretty good ability. Whenever it attacks, manifest dread. So the manifest dread ability, if you've not seen that yet or heard about it, it's kind of like how we do cloaking in what was that, Karlov Manor, but
disguise,
cloaking and disguise and all that. So but it's a little, I think you get more control over it, because you get to look at the top 2 cards of your library and you put one on the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature, and the other one goes into your graveyard, which I think putting that into the graveyard, the other one is a separate benefit. You can use it as a separate benefit if you know what I mean, and I think that can get you additional value with another mechanic that I believe I've mentioned with one of my cards in the top 5 as well. So I think that's very relevant. But also, if the card that you put down as the Manifest Dread, it's a 2/2 face down as it is, and the opponent doesn't see it. But if you put it face down, you can turn it face up if it's a creature card. And I believe you have to do it as a sorcery, if I'm not mistaken.
No, anytime.
Is it anytime?
Yeah, because you can manifest dread, turn it up face at any time for its mana cost, and this is not a
Oh,
tappable
at any
ability.
time. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's really cool. But what I think is even crazier with the Shrieker is that you can pay a colorless and a green at instant speed, even if it never attacked, as long as you manifest dread in some other way. You can reveal it, and then if it's a creature, you may turn it face up. Now, two things here. I believe this allows you to look at the manifest dread cards for your opponent, which I think is noteworthy. So that way you know what you're dealing with, and you know if you have to worry about it, for one. And two, you could just flip your creature up for 2 mana. You flip your Atraxa up, turn 4, you attack with them, you manifest dread the Atraxa. Oh, that's an Atraxa. I'm going to flip it up for 2 mana. Now I have an Atraxa.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And
some of these green cards are really letting you do some really cool stuff. So yeah, I'm very, very hype on this guy.
The interesting thing, like you said, you don't actually, it lets you manifest when you attack, but if you don't even want to manifest when you attack, you could literally just play the green card called Manifest Dread, which is 1 green and 1 as a companion card. And that just, you can say, okay, I Manifest Dread. What did I get? Oh, I'm playing Golgari and I got a Vein Ripper. Okay, I'll just flip that up. And so you've basically played something, you manifested Dread for 1 black, for 1 red, and 1 green and 1, and then flipped it for 1 green and 1. That's your turn, is playing something for free out of, that you may have grabbed. And there's a lot of cards that you can play with that manifest dread. So it's just a useful card all around. And
we have all the Surveil lands, so you play the Shrieker on 3, and then turn 4 you play your Surveil land. You look at the top card. Oh, look, it's a Vein Ripper. I think I'm going to keep it right there. And then you attack, and then boom, it's attack, manifest, flip it. Exactly. Or you can wait till your opponent's turn to flip it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like wait till they target it or something to try to kill it. Oh, sorry, it's a Vein Ripper. Do you have a creature to sacrifice? It's really crazy.
And this also doesn't just work. It works on any upside down card, by the way. So even if you have a disguised card, you can flip any disguised card flipped.
Oh, that's true. Target face down permanent. Yes, you're right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be dreaded. It could just be a face down permanent. So there's some weird synergy that you can get going.
Yeah, because it kind of plays off of the other stuff
disguise.
About. Yeah. But I think some of the disguised creatures you have to be careful because sometimes they have ward.
They do.
So you do need to be mindful of, I mean, it's still nice that you can play off of a previous mechanic.
Yeah,
I think that's great. I think that this card just does so much, and like the stats aren't bad. And it's a freaking non-legendary. So you can just throw 4 in your deck here, and you'd be like, all right, this is fine, So yeah, I'm very high on this card.
That's great. I like it, and I actually had it on my short list, but I gave it to him.
Thank you.
So that was basically every card was all on each other's short. We had a lot of overlap. So I'm gonna go with my number 1 next, and this one. I'm going to do some explaining with this one because Numbskull, he doubted me at first. He said, I don't know, man.
He talked me into it.
I talked him into it. So I'm going to talk you all into it. And that's going to be Unholy Annex / Ritual Chamber. And this is also a new mechanic card right here. This is a mono black card. And this is a room. This is The Room by Tommy Wiseau. That's a good reference right there. You're nice. Tearing me apart. Oh, hi, Mark. Anyways, Unholy Annex is one side of it. Basically, it's an enchantment that comes down. It's Enchantment Room. You can pay for either side. This thing has 2 sides, and then once it's down, you can pay later to open up the other side. There's also mechanics that go on, like whenever you open a room, XYZ happens, or whenever you close a room, XYZ happens. So the first side is Unholy Annex, which is 1 black and 2. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. If you control a demon, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. You know how we love gain and drain on this channel.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, you lose 2 life. Now, losing 2 life to draw a card, honestly, not that bad. When you consider that this is a similar price of a a Phyrexian Arena, which is actually 2 black and 1. Little harder to get into multicolored decks. This can fit in a multicolored deck right here pretty easily.
Very true.
And get you a arena effect, which is lose 2 life and draw a card. Decent. However, I want demons on the board, and I want a lot of demons on the board. When you have this, if you do this Unholy Annex and then you have a demon, it's gain and drain 2. Guess what happens when you have a Bloodletter out? That's they lose 4 life at the end of the turn every time that you have a Bloodletter out, because that's a vampire demon. And whenever you hold a demon, they lose 2 life, and whenever they lose life, they lose twice as much. They lose 4 life per turn.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Really,
and there's a lot of other demons that we're going to be playing. There's also Archfiend of the Dross. That's a great little 4-drop for you right there.
Yeah.
And just in case you can't find a demon and you're hurting yourself, let's go for Ritual Chamber. That is 3 black. 3 and 2 black. That's a 5-drop. Whenever you unlock this door, create a 6/6 black demon creature with flying. So you have like a Phyrexian Arena effect that potentially, as the game goes on, can immediately manifest as a sorcery a 6/6 flying black demon. That can really mess things up. That is not a good thing. So, it is a slow growth. It is card draw. It is gain and drain. It's flexibility, and it supports demons, which I love demon decks. I haven't been able to build a good one in a while, so I'm excited about the demon support. Comparatively, I think it could fit a lot of different places. You could put this in Orzhov Life Gain and not worry about it. It would fit perfectly fine there, even if you're going to do a demon high end. So
I can see that. Yeah, I think I'm even more in on this card now that I've been gently reminded that Aquazotz is also a demon. I think that means that I think you're cooking here, Jay. I'm officially gonna say it. It's really good. It's a really good card, and I think it illustrates a point. Like, it's nice that they included. Oh, hey, it's built in. Make a demon in case you don't have one.
Exactly. So
that's cool, but it illustrates a point of you don't have to unlock every room. Sometimes one half of it just is good on its own, and you just let it sit there. And maybe you have something better to do with 5 mana, or maybe you don't have anything to do with 5 mana, and you need a mana sink late in the game because the opponent removed all your stuff, but they didn't kill your room. Okay, now I'm going to get a demon. They sunfalled your board. Whoops, but this is still out here, and now I get a 6/6 demon.
Exactly. I was thinking that for that exact purpose, the sunfall. I got a demon in the pocket. If we're going middle to late game, he can clear the board. He better have more cards of removal, because otherwise I'm going to manifest another demon.
Yeah,
it's already ready, willing and waiting to go. So
I think it's a good contingency plan in the sense of like, they're like, oh well, we have the. We're like top decking. They wiped the board. Doing it on turn 5 doesn't sound great. Making that 6/6 demon, but making it just kind of when there's nothing, when nobody's doing anything else in the game, and someone's looking for a way to win. Yeah, that makes a difference. So, I do actually think it's pretty good, and I'm definitely sold.
Yeah. There's another black room too that maybe we'll talk about on honorable mentions, but I kind of, this one edged it out a little bit for me. So that's my first edged. Yeah, it got me there. It edged me out just a little bit.
It happens.
I see demons, I start edging. Anyways.
Edged by the demon.
Edged by the demon. That's you gotta go on AO3 for that one. Next step, we're gonna go for Numbskulls number 4.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm doing cards too.
You forgot you're doing cards. You forgot what he was going on.
We started talking about edging. Everything else went out the window.
Everything went blank.
All right, so here we go. So this is something that it's another one that we saw, and I think it was actually this might have been like the first card that was revealed, and everybody was like, "Dude, what the hell are you guys doing? This is unreal." We have here Screaming Nemesis. And this is just one of those, and this is actually one of the reasons that I didn't think Amalia was going to get banned in Pioneer. was because of this ability. So it's 3 mana, it's 2 colorless and a red. It is a spirit. It's a 3/3 haster. And once again, non-legendary, so pretty cool. This one says, whenever Screaming Nemesis is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any other target. If a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game. What's happening right now?
That is an off button for certain decks. That's literally just sorry, the game's over. Apologies.
It's and I feel like in a way, like people have asked for stuff like this before. It's like, because it's basically like an emblem.
Yeah, it's an emblem.
It's like, oh, if you can't attack when this is out, you can't block this if it attacks. Well, if you care to gain life, at least that's, you know what I mean. But also, like, you know, if you have a big creature, you can't really attack into it either, because it just turns into a giant fireball at your face. It also has haste, so it could be a really good sideboard card in like some mono red aggro decks. So I think this card's awesome. I think it's going to see play in a lot of formats. Standard, Pioneer, probably even Modern. It could be like kind of a mirror breaker in Modern, because a big one right now in Modern is the what do you call it? Is the Boros energy matchups, and they tend to gain a good bit of life with like the lifelink cats and stuff. So because of that could end up being somewhat of a mirror breaker in those matchups. The Selesnya Angels are coming back in Pioneer now too, now that Amalia's gone. Creature-based decks are kind of coming back a little bit. So because of that, it's like, yeah, this guy can do some things, and he can shut down certain decks. Now in you know, best of 3 gaming, I think he probably is a better card in the sideboard, but like I could see best of 1 decks just putting this in the main deck, if there's like a lot of life gain going around, which there very well may be.
I honestly like this. You could throw this easily into a Golgari fight deck and just smash it against somebody. No, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, no, a Gruul fight deck.
Oh, Gruul. Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Just smash it into other people's big creatures.
Yeah, absolutely.
And throw the result at them. I also like the idea of hammer and anviling this out, which is either turn 3 with ramp or turn 4, drop it and drop a shock on it, just to immediately shut off. Just to immediately, like, not even wait, but like specifically ping it for 1 damage. I think people are probably going to do that in case people are running life gain, like even bats right now, which is super effective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this makes Sheoldred like half as useful. Like, that's how powerful this thing is.
That's true. Yeah,
you get no life gain from Sheoldred anymore. You know,
Sheoldred's
like,
not as good. Yeah, so you have to be mindful of how you remove it, and when you're attacking, if you're playing mono black and stuff like that. It's very, very relevant.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna hurt a few people. There's gonna be a lot of salty life gainers. Me being one of them too. I like life gain.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'm sure someone's gonna bring it in against me, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably the best card. That was a good plan. Yeah. So I'm sure people are gonna see it and be like, all right, well, let's go to game 3, because they're like, I can't do this.
Yeah, he's one of those that's on site. You got it. We got to hit him right away. So
you got to kill him, and you don't want to do damage to him. So. Yeah. You got to find a better way to kill him than doing damage. That's where like mono red mirrors and stuff like that, it's so good, because the only way to get rid of stuff is straight damage. You know.
So good stuff right there. All right, I'm going to move on to my next one here. I'm going to move on to my number 4, which is also got a splash of red in it.
Okay.
But I don't. It's actually a Rakdos card, which I'm a fan of. And that is going to be, I want to get the name right here, Undead Sprinter. Yes. The reason I like Undead Sprinter, he is a Rakdos card, Rakdos colors, 1 black, 1 red, 2/2 zombie. Always like to see the Rakdos zombies, not very many of those.
That is pretty cool, yeah.
He has trample and haste. Hasty zombie, not a big hit. You get a lot of black cards with haste. And then we have that Blitz effect that we had in New Capenna. What was the name of that card that you used to really like a lot?
Tenacious Underdog.
Tenacious Underdog. He has a Tenacious Underdog effect, kind of like Blitz. You may cast Undead Sprinter from your graveyard if a non-zombie creature died this turn. If you do, he enters with a 1/1 counter on him. So if something dies this turn, meaning that in Rakdos Sacrifice, come on, that's easy. That's easy. I'm killing stuff in Rakdos all the time. So specifically Rakdos Sacrifice, immediately casting a 3/3, being able to cast a 3/3 haster and with trample from your graveyard every single turn if I have the sacrifice to run it. I mean, you could run them with Factory. Something is going to guarantee die every single turn, and I could just recast them at the end of I could recast them at the beginning of the end step, you know what I mean? Or whenever. Or when did those Factory guys die? I don't know. It doesn't matter. All I got to do is make sure stuff dies. And he's back on the board. He's back on the board. He's back on the board.
And there's there's the new sorcery version of like 1 mana, sacrifice a creature, exile target creature. So you have that like good removal. You sack your like greedy freebooter. You get a treasure. You exile their creature. You play your sprinter from the grave. Obviously, I think he's going to play well off of another mechanic that we'll get to.
Yes.
So that's something as well. And I think what's even cooler about this guy is that he doesn't go back to the graveyard after you bring him back. He stays on the board. You have to kill him again.
No, he doesn't go away. He's just back. And if you kill him, the only real way to get rid of him is to exile him.
Yeah, you got to exile him, or just like hope that I never have another non-zombie creature die. Which, if you put him in a deck, he's probably going to be like the only zombie.
Yeah.
So
I would even put him in a zombie deck. I'd put him with a zombie skeletons and put Gisa.
Oh, skeletons would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
You do them with the zombie skeletons, and that way Gisa gives all skeletons and all zombies +1/+1 and menace. Boom.
Yeah, that's pretty gas actually.
Yeah,
mixing
and that way, if any skeletons die, boom, I got zombies back, et cetera and so forth. So we're pushing. We're pushing aggressively with Rakdos. He's also a great way to use him as sacrifice fodder. He's just a great guy to sacrifice and bring back again because he's just, he's kind of like a cat, one of those cats that you just could bring back.
Yeah.
The black cat or whatever, so he's good sacrifice fodder. He's just all around feeds into what Rakdos does best. I'm excited to do him. I love Zombos. I'm glad he's here. He's also dressed like a 80s jock because apparently he was the jock that went into the haunted house in the 80s theme.
Apparently his name's Farley.
Farley had always been the fastest on the track, but no one was cheering anymore. So yeah, he's got a sick 80s headband on, and a vest, and that's pretty good, man.
Little sweatband on the wrist.
He's got the cuff. He's got the fit he's got the zombie fit. Yeah,
it's
for sure there. So
I also wonder, can you bring him back on your opponent's turn?
I think you have to cast him. So I think it's going to be only in main phase.
Okay, because it's not like return to the battlefield.
It's not return. It's cast him from your graveyard.
I see. Yeah. Okay, so that's noteworthy, but still,
that is noteworthy. Yeah,
pretty decent. Pretty decent.
I think he's a great little utility for Rakdos.
Yeah, and once again, non-legendary. You can just bring all these guys back if you.
If you got enough, you crush somebody, you can bring a couple of them back and swing in.
For sure. Okay, well, let's I'm sure a bunch of people in the podcast are like, all right, well, where are the black cards? Well, here he is. Because I know I did a green one and then a red one. Now I'm doing black. We gotcha. And I think Jay will have one coming. It'll be cool.
Oh yeah, I got my last two are black, and of course, yeah. We won't reveal our ultimate though.
So my number 3 is Volgavoth, Terror Eater.
He's doing it.
And yeah, this was one of the ones. Or wait. Well, that's fine. Yeah. We'll do Volgavoth because he's just crazy.
Yeah.
There was another one that I was gonna do in its place because I do think it's really good. But honestly, you know what? Let's just do this guy.
Okay.
Let's just talk about him. 9 mana, so that's something. 6 colorless, 3 black. 9/9 Elder Demon. There's a demon as well for the card that Jay was talking about. He has a legendary 9/9 flying lifelink and ward. Sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. I hope you got some non-land permanents. If a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So he's got like built-in Leyline of the Void. During your turn, you may play cards exiled with Volgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost. And if you think about it, because he gains you 9 life, he basically gives you like 9 mana worth of free spells.
Exactly.
Because he has lifelink and he's a 9/9. So yeah, I mean that's pretty solid. Cast that Atraxa, cast whatever. It's like you could play him like in the discard shell.
Is it fair to say? Can we call something right now? I'm gonna make a big call right now. I want to hear if you agree with me.
Okay.
Is he on deck to become the new Atraxa? Is he the number one reanimator target right now? 9/9 flying, lifelink, and Ward of Sacrifice 3 permanents.
Yeah.
Is he the guy people are trying to mill and grill right away?
I think he's like definitely. He's at least number 3. I think number 1 is Atraxa. Number 2 is probably Atali. And the biggest reason that those guys are number 1 and 2, and the reason that I didn't make this the best card in the set and argue with you about that, was because he does not have an enter the battlefield effect. If he did, he would be the best card from this set. It wouldn't be. I don't think it would be close. But because there's no ETB and there's he's incredibly hard to remove. We'll definitely all agree on that. But because there's no ETB, he doesn't immediately impact the board. I think that is partially what makes it a little bit difficult to say that he's better than Atali or better than Atraxa. And that's the only reason. But when those guys rotate out, yeah, he would probably be the front runner. I think Atali and Atraxa rotate at the same time, don't they?
Yeah, and I think that I think they're from the same set, as a matter of fact. Yeah. I feel like he's obviously too hard to hard cast. I mean, unless you're doing some real tricky shit. You could manifest him though. That's the other thing. You could manifest Dread on him. And
manifest with the Shrieker, 2 mana. Get your.
I think your easiest way is obviously the Reanimator target. I think he slips easily into that position of Reanimator, of a high Reanimator. I think there's an argument to be made. Him and Atraxa both being lifelink flyers. Man, that's hard to deal with, man. That is not easy to just take.
Yeah, the evasion I think is a really big one here. I think that's one of your biggest things that you have to deal with for sure. Totally agree. And the ward is also crazy because Atraxa is really easy to remove, but the reason that you don't care if she goes away is because you got to look at 10 cards and take 5.
Exactly. She had the ETB effect.
So his ward is kind of in place of the ETB, in my opinion, and it is a very difficult ward. And if you have another creature, then Sheoldred's Edict doesn't do anything. If you have another non-token creature, rather, your best hit for this card is like Blot Out. Blot Out's really good against this card. I feel pretty bad if the whole point of your deck was to cheat this out, and someone goes, "Okay, Blot Out," and then Volgavoth is exiled, and you just kind of don't do anything after that. So. Yeah. Outside of that though, and there aren't. I mean, some of these aggro decks, if you cheat this out on turn 3 or 4, they'd probably scoop.
They might, because again, you're not going to kill it unless you have a Sunfall like on turn. Unless you're getting that turn 5 Sunfall, you're just probably never going to get them, or Force Sacrifice. Yeah,
so it's pretty good. And then we have ways to bring them back. There is an honorable mention I'll bring up. That can help bring him back if he's in the graveyard or whatever. There's like you said, the flip stuff. Sadly he's legendary. If he wasn't legendary, we could do the Coiling Rebirth. That would be a crazy target for that too.
Well, you can do Coiling Rebirth to him. You just can't create a token.
You just don't get 2. Yeah. So you could reanimate him for 5. It's like it's not amazing, but and I think we're gonna see there's an instant speed reanimator as well, which I think is
that could be hugely threatening. Yeah, especially if you do that instant speed reanimator at the end of that was honestly on my list. There's so much good stuff.
Like do it after they attack. I'm like, okay,
yeah, on your end step. All right, immediately he's back. He doesn't have summoning sickness. Swing in, boom, and then things are bad. So,
well, you can just do it like when they declare their attackers.
True.
And then block their gain 9 life, attack the next turn. Pretty good.
And whatever you kill gets to get recast for yourself.
Whatever you kill, you can cast it then too. Yep.
Exactly.
Yes,
so a lot of trickiness here. Vorthos moment. He is the cause of DUSKMOURN. He's the heart of DUSKMOURN. He is the source of the haunted house.
So I think
literally
we had to pay him some homage here.
Yeah. So that he's that guy. So Valgavoth, there he is. All right. So my next one, I'm not in my black cards yet. Guys, I'm not happy. I'm not crazy about including this one, but I mean, if you haven't done any previews yet, you need to know about it because I'm going to run it. I'm not going to be happy about running it, but I'm going to do it. And other people are going to run it against you. It's going to be Arabella, Abandoned Doll. Yeah. Obviously we're doing the Annabelle thing here. If you haven't seen those movies, this is crazy, especially for a legendary artifact creature at that. They said, what if they said, okay, the WotC designer said, "Ooh, I got an idea, man. What if Lightning Helix was a person and it happened over and over again?" And they were like, "Yes, that's what we want." So this costs as much as a Lightning Helix, 1 white and 1 red. It's a Boros card. When Annabella Abandoned Doll attacks, it deals X damage to target opponent and you gain X life, just like a Lightning Helix, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 2 or less. They said, you thought Boros Convoke was gone? Boros Convoke never left, okay?
And it's better.
It's worse. If you're talking about wide board token spam shit that's going on right now, even the factories, even the factory spam, the token spam factory decks right now that are big, come on, man. The fabricator the decks, Boros going wide on this one, 2 or less swing in. I mean, you combine it with something like Delnay, and it gets double the effect.
Oh, it doubles it. Yeah, that's pretty.
It doubles the effect. So if you have let's say you just you do the thing where you play the investigator turn 1, crack it open for the goblins on turn 3, then all of a sudden you have 3 1 power less, then turn 3 you hit them with this and then swing in turn 4. I mean, it's damn near lights out, man. It is not easy to get around this. A 1/3 that gain and drains a huge amount for small little token decks. It's big support, guys. I'm gonna play it, but like I said, people are going to be real tired of this doll. I think her biggest issue is that legendary, they did cap her on the legendaries. You're not going to get multiple of these out. However, she does die to a cut down. That is the bad news. She is a 1/3. Yeah. If she was like a 2/4, I think she would have been way OP. She dies to a cut down, and you might need to get her the cut down right away, because if they got her on here and then they do something like what's that one that gives you +2 in haste immediately and just swing in board, you could be looking at huge gain and drain effects. Not only are you going to deal with the you lose 5 life and I gain 5 life, all my creatures are going to hit you as well. So it's not good. It's a big hit. I think the way Boros is set up right now for these small aggro decks, this is just mega support. Turn 2 support for something crazy. So, be on the lookout for an evil doll is all I'm saying.
Yeah, don't count out that doll. She is a scary one. Yeah. And another card in Boros that I think is she makes the Boros hands better, because if you have normally you'd be like, oh, I want to have what do you call it? I want to have the 1-drop that makes the clue, and then the demolition and the Knight Errant. But now if you don't have the Knight Errant, you can have Arabella instead, and then just attack with everything still.
Exactly.
On like turn 2 or 3, and then do all the damage. So you still get crazy value. So I think that's noteworthy. She makes what normally would have been a hand that you have to mulligan into a keepable hand, effectively giving Boros Convoke or the Boros aggro decks in general another win con.
Yes,
or just
absolutely.
a way to get it done faster, so to speak. So yeah, really good card here as an uncommon. I think she's gonna put in work, and she's gonna find her way into decks, and she keeps going on that like value train of like really good cheap Boros cards, you know?
Yeah. That's the direction Boros is trending right now, is just like token spam, cheap stuff, fast, away from, I guess, whatever the hell Winota was. So course correction there. And also Artisan. I mean, I don't know if we have how many Artisan players. I love Artisan.
Yeah, Jay's awesome at Artisan.
She is uncommon, guys. Like, she is not hard on the wallet right here. You could really make an effective deck out of her for very cheap, even in paper, probably on Arena, definitely for Wilds. She can definitely get you a lot of wins for easy on the budget. So I just wanted to bring her up.
Totally agree. Yeah, she's awesome. Definitely have to keep an eye out for her. And you were saying with Villainy, I think she can fit into decks that aren't just Convoke too. So you'll have to like maybe some of these like Pia Nalar decks, like those could go crazy. Some of those like just exile, cast from exile stuff in Boros. That's a thing too that people need to watch out for. So she kind of fits into like almost every decent Boros archetype. Fits into the mice well too.
Yeah, she does fit into mice.
It's like, dude, as long as it's not like even the regular Boros, like the Boros tokens, that kind of works also if you think about it. So yeah, you can make an argument that she could be in like almost anything, and
she could be in almost anything Boros right now. I mean, she fits with Pakal decks. Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. On Pakal, sorry, yes, yeah. On Pakal, I think Pia Nalar goes in those decks too. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So you make all those little 1/1s, and yeah, she just makes it go even crazier.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we're on to what, the number 2s now.
Number 2 for the Numbers of Skulls here.
So this one is going to be tied to Volgavoth. It is Victor Volgavoth's Seneschal.
Victor von Villain.
He is a human warlock, 3/3 for 3. It's a colorless, a white, and a black. We know we love our Orzhov enchantments.
We love our Orzhovs.
And our Orzhov tokens and, whatever else. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, Surveil 2, if this is the first time this ability is resolved this turn. If it's the second time, each opponent discards a card. If it's the third time, put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Notably, a graveyard. So I think there's some cheap enchantments that we can put out. There's the roll tokens and this and that. I think we can, like, turn 4, we can like reanimate something pretty crazy. Like turn 1/2, you set it up to be in your graveyard, and then you get this guy out, and then turn 4, you just whatever.
Well, the amazing thing is he sets up the graveyard plays built in, because you get to surveil, so you get to select things to go in your graveyard. Then you get to force discard, so you can choose something else to go in your graveyard, and then you can pop them off.
Well, each opponent discards a card, but yeah, still making the opponent discard a card is good. So you're getting good value with every one of his triggers that affect the game, favorably for you, of course. He is legendary and he's a 3/3. I think he's really good. I think and that ability there, it's called the Eerie ability, and that usually is tied to enchantments entering the battlefield a certain number of times per turn. So I'm pretty happy with Victor. I'm gonna try to make a cool deck for early access with Victor for sure. I think he might be like a little underutilized, but I think we can do some cool stuff. And I think you could also put him in some of these Rotten Mouth builds too. Yeah. Yeah. You can either sack the enchantments to play the Rotten Mouth, or you can just bring the Rotten Mouth onto the battlefield from the graveyard if you get 3 in 1 turn. You go Hopeless Nightmare, Spiteful Hex Mage, and whatever other cheap enchantment on turn 4 for like 3 or 4 mana.
Well,
you're not even sacking anything. You just bring back your whatever, your Volgavoth, your Viper, whatever you want.
I mean, realistically, he fits really good into discard decks, like, because you have Hopeless Nightmare, like you said, then you have Tiny Bones joins up, Bandit's Talent, you know, is Bandit's Talent an enchantment?
It is.
Yeah. So, you know, there's stuff you can spam for cheap. Like turn 4, you could hit Hopeless Nightmare, Tiny Bones, Bandit's Talent, and boom, he's rezzed. That's turn 4.
You can discard like 3 cards and get a creature from the bin.
Exactly. Like,
pretty gas,
you made them. You can make exactly. You can make them discard basically their whole remaining hand on turn 4.
Because the second one would be another discard, so that's 4 cards.
Exactly. Like
turn 4, discard 4 cards, and I get a creature from the bin, and I surveil too.
I mean, he'll do ugly things. But
that was a really good point to make. I'm glad you said that. I didn't think about how you could just actually kind of slot it into the existing discard archetype that we have somewhat built. So yeah, I'm very happy. I think that we could really make him pop and get some crazy value out of him. And I think that he's something that's like a little bit overlooked in my opinion. I don't think a lot of people are talking about him much. I am very high on Victor. As soon as I read it, he kind of reminded me of like Vito with like the sacrifice stuff, and then you got stuff.
He's got the Vito pose too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's got that like priest in the thing. So yes, I very much like Victor. He gives me Vito vibes. And I do like the Eerie mechanic. So yeah, very important. And I guess since we didn't end up including the card I was talking about, the Surveil could also help trigger Delirium, which is another new mechanic from the set. So you could have Delirium payoffs in a deck with Victor as well, because you're going to be surveilling. So I think we have a lot of cool things going on. He really affects the board a lot.
Yeah.
Affects the game and the board, and I think that's why he's worth talking about.
Absolutely. Do you like the Eerie mechanic because you're from Pennsylvania?
You know, it's funny. Erie is like 6 hours away from me. You have to drive very far.
Oh, okay. It's far.
It is like on the most northwest quadrant, like all the way on the edge of PA. It's basically in Canada. But funny story about that. When my family, we used to go to Canada every year when I was a kid. We had a cottage there that like our whole family kind of like took turns going to. It's like, think of it as like a timeshare that you shared within the family almost, so to speak. We would go there every summer, and it was on Lake Erie.
Nice.
Because you could go to Erie, PA, and like if you like cross that bridge, you could go like Erie into the part of Canada where we were at, because it was so close. So like we actually did drive up there once a year every summer when I was younger, until we sold that cottage. But yeah, so that was just funny story about that. But anyway, Erie is a cool mechanic. I actually didn't even think of Erie the city when I thought of it. I just like immediately associated in my brain like Erie equals enchantments. That's kind of what I trained my brain to think
for
of.
enchantments.
E for enchantment. There you go. Like, yeah, that's what I kind of like paired it in my brain with, you know. But yes, it is a city in the state where I live. That is very true.
I'm also from Great Lakes area, you know, from Michigan, so I'm familiar.
Yeah,
with
for sure.
They make you memorize all the Great Lakes.
Yeah, there's like the acronym, I think, or whatever, isn't there?
Yeah. Please excuse my dear. No, that's PEMDAS. I can't remember.
Warm
what the fuck
P.
It is. Warm P. My next one, diverging here. My next one has created a lot of whinging online, a lot of unnecessary whinging in my
People
opinion.
need to stop.
People need to stop about this, because this has been a mechanic for a long time. It's great, and I think it's the new guy. He's the new kid on the block. He's the new removal. Withering Torment. He's just good.
Yeah.
It's an instant. It's 1 black and 2. Destroy target creature or enchantment. I've been waiting, begging. Oh, also you lose 2 life. Who cares? I don't care about losing life in black. That's every card in black makes you lose life. We all know that already. You play mana in mono black, and makes you lose life. Everything does. I've been waiting with bated breath for a black enchantment removal. Yeah. I slotted what's that one called? The one that makes you lose life equal to the casting cost.
Feed the Swarm.
Feed the Swarm. I put
also
him in
reprinted in the set, but as a commander card.
Yeah, as a commander card.
Notably.
Enchantment removal has existed for a long. First of all, let's talk about your RIP pouring one out. Invoke Despair. Invoke Despair cracked enchantments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Extract the Truth.
Extract the Truth. There's one in Eldraine that destroys it, but nobody plays it because it's a 5-drop.
Oh, the 5 mana one.
I don't know why this was. I don't know why this was controversial. Black has done this for a while. Black should have the ability to destroy everything. There should not be anything out of Black's grasp.
White has it, so why can't we have it?
White has it, green has it, red doesn't. Now, this is a rare ability. This is down on the color pie. People are like, color pie is dead. It's over. Give up. Walk into the street and lay down. It doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters. It is so much whinging about this, and I really was upset because I played so much Feed the Swarm.
Yeah, Feed the Swarm's good. I think it illustrates like a somewhat of a lack of understanding of the color pie. They're trying to like cherry pick. Oh, you can and can't do this, but they also are leaving out the tenets of the identity to the color. And the color is power, or for black, it's power at any cost.
Power at any cost. You will pay
and that's
any
why
price
you
to
lose
do what you want to do.
to be able to do something that is usually like super valuable, because to do it, you have to give up something. And give up a part of yourself, so to speak. In this case, in this game, it's 10% of your life total.
Exactly.
And it's an extra mana, too. I don't even know why they're that mad. It's 3 mana.
It's 3 mana.
Like, if we had other enchantment removal spells, this card wouldn't even be good.
No.
So, like, it's like the only reason that it's better than Feed the Swarm is because it's instant speed. It's still arguably not better than Feed the Swarm. So there's that.
Absolutely. So this is definitely either a sideboard, guaranteed sideboard for mono black. I mean, just guaranteed. And we have Mr. Sideboard to tell us that.
I'm gonna put it in my Pioneer deck probably, for sure.
And for me, I think it's a 2-of automatic. If we're talking about paying 1 more black mana to be able to have that versatility, especially there are some rip-roaring enchantments coming out with this set. I was worried because I was seeing these rooms are enchantments. I mean, it saves you from Innkeeper's Talent. Like, it can crack Innkeeper's Talent in the mono black matchup.
Yeah.
It is very, very useful. Don't forget, it's instant speed, creature removal, or enchantment removal at 2 life cost. It's just good. It's just a good tool.
Also, if anybody who's thinking about complaining about having this, when Omniscience gets reprinted in Foundations, you're going to be wishing that this card was in your deck.
Oh yeah.
So trust me, we weren't happy about Omniscience being reprinted. It's going to be pretty helpful that we have this at instant speed to deal with that, and not Feed the Swarm, considering that I think that spell's like 8 or 9 mana. Yeah. So yes, this is actually an instance where if you want to deal with Omniscience, this is much better than Feed the Swarm, because that just might kill you.
Exactly.
So having this at instant speed, really good, and it can bail us out. So
it's necessary.
I would dare to say that there's going to be a situation where if you're playing a black deck or like a Orzhov or whatever it is, and you don't have enchantment removal, this is maybe going to be the card that you end up using, other than like Get Lost, to remove Omniscience, because people are going to be playing Omniscience decks, and you're going to have to deal with it.
They're going to do a Boiler's Awakening for Omniscience on turn 4. You're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, you're going to have to deal with it, and you're going to be glad this card is in Standard when that happens. So no need to complain.
No
That's
need
how
to
I feel.
complain about the dead color pie. Stop complaining.
But yeah,
Numbskull, your number one pick. The
Yeah,
shocking. Let me
let's
say
move
the
it along.
shocking number one pick.
Shocking. I think it's shocking because it's not a mono black card, or it's not a black
mono
card,
black.
but it is such a good card that I think we just have to, I just had to do it. This is going to be Kona Rescue Beastie. This is a legendary beast survivor. It's 4 mana. It's a 4/3. It uses the survival mechanic. At the beginning of your second main phase, if Kona Rescue Beastie is tapped, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield.
Crazy.
And it's so crazy. And I think one of the biggest reasons for me about why this was considered good is because it's one of those cards that immediately gives you so many ideas.
Yeah.
You get like, oh, I can put my Atraxa on the board. Oh, wait, I could just put Galta on the board and put my whole hand on the board too. And it makes like the most unimaginable memes in Magic that are like just for like playing in the play queue. It makes it like an actual like strong combo in the format now that's competitive. And and it's like she's like don't let your memes be dreams. You can literally do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want.
And when a card comes in and says that, I think that we have to, give it props and we have to be mindful of it. I think Kona will be, and she's going to be played in other formats, of course. There's Convoke stuff. There is there's the saddle mechanic. There's another creature that came out like just today that allows you to tap the creature itself to like as like part of the casting cost for it, if that makes sense. So then that just immediately makes Kona
because
better.
It doesn't say that she attacked, it says if she's tapped.
And so she's just, it's unreal.
I even think that Witch's Brew card, what's the name of that one? Witch's Brew card that lets you tap it, you get rid of somebody and add the ability to somebody else.
Oh, Agatha Soul Cauldron?
Yeah, Agatha Soul Cauldron right there. I mean, I think if you do a green with that...
Well, that's an activated ability.
Well,
this
here's
would be
the thing.
Triggered.
Well, activated ability?
Yeah,
No. I'm saying that you eat up somebody who has a tap ability and put it on her.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. That's actually pretty cool. Make it so she could tap for mana. She could do whatever. Exactly. So now she's ramping you into another good play, and then still putting another thing on the board. Yeah, absolutely.
Golgari Cauldron deck could do pretty good on that one. And again, like you said, throw Galta out there. And by the way, this says permanent, so you could you could do anything.
World of Phyrexia. Ridiculous.
Phyrexia, if you want that on the battlefield.
People are probably going to be using that to cheat out Omniscience too. Just saying.
Yes, they are going to be doing the dirty Simic players that they are. I gotta also say that I love the design of her because she is very friendly rescue beastie, and she is also really scary.
Yeah, it goes really well.
Despite being obviously one of the quote unquote good guys of the set, she also is wearing a bunch of creepy masks and has a giant teeth maw and no face.
I like it.
And a bunch of arms. So really good kind of friendly monster type build that they've done here. Really good design.
And really the one that they printed and revealed, I think today, it's an uncommon. It's Fear of Exposure. It's a 5/4 trample for 3 mana. As an additional cost to cast this spell, tap 2 untapped creatures or lands you control. So you could actually tap 2 survival creatures on main phase 1 to cast this on like turn 4 or something, turn 3 or 4, or I guess it'd be like turn 4 or 5 because Kona's 3 mana or 4 mana. But then you have your 5/4 that you actually benefited from the Fear of Exposure, making you tap creatures now.
Exactly.
And you got your 5/4, and now you get whatever else you want from your hand too. So
good stuff. Great for Survivor deck.
Yeah, so I think Fear of Exposure is going to be That can be like a little honorable mention there. That is going to be nice in the Survivor deck, and I think it's an easy way. I love that they built in a way within the set for you to
tap things,
to tap Kona, so that you get that ability and to light up the survival mechanic. It's good synergy. That's part of the reason that we enjoy, or that I think that we think this set is good. There's good synergy with all the mechanics, you know. They play very well off of one another. I think it's going to make for a good draft format too.
Very good. I'm going to get to my number one.
Yes,
as we close up here, and that is going to be, you know what it's going to be. It's going to be Snake Veto. It's Snake Veto, ladies and gentlemen. That we fought over who was going to get this one or was going to be the number one.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, this thing was revealed. We had our number one or tier 0 pick like 3 months ago when they revealed it. Enduring Tenacity, 2 black and 2 4/3 enchantment creature Snake Glimmer, which is a new thing. That's like a special weird image that you see, a ghosty image that you see in the haunted house. Whenever you gain life, target opponent lose that much life. Sound familiar? That's because it's Veto. It's Snake Veto, everybody.
Snake Veto. Snake Sanguine Bond, Snake Veto.
If you have not seen any of my decks, you may or may not know how powerful this ability is. You could put this in a food deck and just gorge on food and kill the other person.
Yeah,
I've done that before. Like, I've ramped food and then just ate 4 food tokens and kill somebody for 12 damage.
It's fun.
That is ridiculous. Not only that, Enduring Tenacity, if he dies, he comes back as under its owner's control as an enchantment. You have to kill this thing twice to make it go away. So if I'm gaining and draining, you're like, well, I got to get rid of that snake. I would play removal. Boom, it dies. Guess what? It's an enchantment now. Use your Destroy enchantment or use one of your exiles. It's not a legendary, unlike Veto. You can have as many of these as you want out.
That is true.
If you have 2 of them out and you eat 1 food, they lose 6 life. That is insane. That's insane. You get something like Bloodletter, and then you do the thing like I said with the demonic annex or the unholy annex. So they would lose 2 life, which means they would lose 4, and then you would gain 2 life, which means they would lose another 4.
Yeah, they would lose 8 life off of basically on your every end step for you.
There is so much pain that you're going to be able to cause with Snake Veto here. Throw them in a bat deck, and every time that you swing with all of your bats, they lose that life that you all gain on Zoraline attacks. Like,
and then there's the other one that makes you, every instance of life gain, they lose another one off that too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the one that can't block.
Yeah, the not Darkstar Augur, but the other one. Yeah, I can't remember.
2 mana, 2/1 can't block. I forget the name, but yeah. And then Zoraline gives everybody gives you life when they attack, and some of them have lifelink anyway. There's a lot of little kind of, you can do like a death by 1,000 cuts that way.
Now, the worst case scenario is that you get hit with Numbskull's card, Screaming Nemesis, and then you can never gain life again.
Yeah, that makes this really bad.
That makes that really bad. So you got to be careful. But Snake Veto, I'm going to be building with it constantly. You know I'm going to be building with it constantly. It's the real deal.
Yeah, I love it. It's kind of like Sanguine Bond and Veto mixed. And they're like, well, that's not as good as Veto, because Veto is 3 mana and Sanguine Bond is 5 and this is 4. And they're like, okay, fine. If they kill it, it comes back. And you're like, okay, sold.
Exactly. Good stuff.
Fantastic. Give me 14 of them right now.
Exactly. I will have 4 of your finest Snake Veto, sir.
Yeah. Give me 5. I'll throw one in the commander deck.
There you go. Even though he's not legendary, he's legendary in my heart.
Exactly. Yeah, he will be of legend in no time. But yeah, so we're very high on Enduring Tenacity. I was going to use that as number 1. I was telling Jay before that I was going to tell you guys that Jay took all the good black cards. That's why I didn't have enough. But
I did.
This is a good one, and then we do have our tier 0 coming at you in a second.
We have our tier 0 coming in a second. We wanted to throw a couple of it's going to be the lightning fastball around here. We're going to throw a couple of honorable mentions.
You want me to go first?
I'll flash them up on the screen. Let's just do like a couple of seconds on each of what we think you should be on the out for.
Okay. Demonic Council. It's basically Demonic Tutor if you have Delirium. I think Delirium is going to be really important in the set. I think you can do Delirium without doing green. It's really good. I was going to actually put it in place of Volgavoth, but there's just so much to say about him that I wanted to put Volgavoth as number 3. The next one, Volgavoth's Faithful.
That's basically a great one.
4 mana, reanimate a Volgavoth. Ridiculous. So 4 mana, you can play off of Delirium that way, surveilling, whatever. I think it's good. Next one, Grievous Wound.
Grievous Wound is the one we both agreed on, by the way. These are all, I co-signed all of these, but I know Numbskull's reading them, but.
Grievous Wound. So this is like almost like our top 10 of just black cards like we were talking about. This one kind of gives you, this is an enchantment as well. It kind of gives you like that Rush of Dread effect. It's really cool. It's a permanent though, which I think is kind of nice.
Comes in and you lose half of your life immediately.
Yeah, so
the opponent loses half your life.
Yeah, so with Bloodletter out, obviously there's your 1-turn kill. We have a couple ways to do a 1-turn kill with Bloodletter within all this right now, which is really cool, and our tier 0 is going to play off of that too. Mm-hmm. Then we have Doomsday Excruciator, which I think it's just like fun. It's crazy, but it's fun, and it's just like, you know, it's this like kind of kamikaze. All right, I'm sick of playing. Let's just do this, you know?
Yeah, and it's also a reference. I don't know if you've seen the original Doomsday, the white Doomsday. It's a similar. It's an old mechanic. Or I'm not sorry. It's not white. It's black. It's 3 black. I have this card. I physically own one.
Like a board wipe, or?
Yeah. So basically, the original Doomsday, pay half your life, round up. Put your graveyard on top of your library, then remove all but 5 cards from your library from the game. Put the rest in the top of your library in any order.
Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah. And then it's also double, and it's for both players now.
Exactly. So that's why he's here doing that thing.
Yeah, I actually
reference to an old D&D card. Fun.
I also love the art. I think the art's great.
It's good. He's a demon too. I mean, we love.
Yeah, and another demon for Jay. So come on, let's do it. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. And then we have the Mind Skinner, which is going to be a mill card, which
I don't co-sign that one.
I was going to tell Jay that I'm not happy about it, but I think it's a good card. So hit that one if he connects. If he does damage or if he hits you and you don't block, you mill 10 cards. But also, any creature that would deal damage to you, they mill instead. Pretty crazy. So keep that in mind.
Honestly, he could be an Orzhov and get trample, and he could really fuck up things. I mean, not an Orzhov. Is it and get trample and be really weird?
Is it? Yeah. Well, and then there's a card that says that this creature can't be blocked this turn in the set too.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff going on. And then we have Balustrade Worm. The last one.
Not a bad one.
I like it. I like the green can't be countered spells. I like that it plays off Delirium, bringing it back from the graveyard. I like that it has Trample and Haste. Because there was another worm from Thunder Junction, but I think that one didn't have Haste.
No,
or whatever it was. And I think that was what stopped it from being playable, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it can be killed easily.
Yeah, so I think this guy with Delirium, bringing him back, I think is really good. And the Trample and Haste 5/4 for 4, I think it's enough to be playable.
Absolutely.
So I'm throwing my hat in the ring for that for the worm too. Just get ready to get out your worm.
And of course, we gotta bring out our new Bolo. Be on the lookout. We're not happy about this card, but you need to know it exists. Split up. Yeah. Two white and 1. They said, how can we board wipe things faster? They said split up.
Here you go.
It is a modal board wipe. Destroy all tap creatures or destroy all untapped creatures. As we all know, splitting up is a bad idea in a horror movie. That's why everybody dies. Kind of a funny meta narrative. They said, hey, the set doesn't have enough board wipes. The game currently is just way under board wiped. We just absolutely just don't have enough. You know what I mean? And I agree. I think they should probably print at least 5 or 6 every set. That's one man's opinion. Okay. You know, I just feel like there should just be more. So I'm glad that they finally listening to the fans and saying, yes, we will put 5 or 6 more board wipes in every set. So
it's just what we needed.
Number 1, the ultimate.
Let's do it.
Who wants to reveal them? You want to reveal them? I took all the bad black cards from you.
All right, yeah. I'll do it. Unstoppable Slasher. Here we go. 2 colorless, a black, 2/3 Death Touch Zombie Assassin. He is non-legendary. Really cool here. When he deals combat damage to a player, they lose half their life rounded up. Yeah. Yeah. Him on turn 3, Bloodletter on turn 4, win the game.
Game over.
We've actually sped up the
we had to do it to him, man. Sped up the instant kill Bloodletter combo. They said turn 5 was not enough. It needs to be on turn 4.
It might be that much better now.
Yeah, honestly.
It's basically you really need to remove both, in my opinion, now. Because the rush of dread was like, oh well, I'll lose half my life one time, but I'll just kill your Bloodletters, and then now it's just like your combo's done, and like you have to like kind of start over on trying to kill me.
I also want to point out that turn 4 is under the Sunfall radius.
Yeah, that too.
They cannot Sunfall you fast enough to stop it if you're on the play.
And the fact that he has Death Touch is great. He's going to kill just about anything that he attacks into. So I think that makes it even better yet. So I'm very happy about this card. Ooh, I like the showcase art too. That's really cool. So yeah, his hand art. Yeah, it's actually really dope. His hand is like kind of like an Edward Scissorhands type of thing with the sawmill.
Yeah. He's supposed to be. He's a horror movie slasher. He's Jason, Freddy. He's everybody.
Yeah, I'm really liking that.
And on his own, I mean, the fact that he reduces your life by half each time is already OP. If he didn't have an instant kill combo, like that's crazy good in black because you could just force life loss on people. And also, he doesn't die when you kill him. He becomes stunned.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I didn't even read that part.
Exactly. Just like a real horror movie villain, even if you shoot him or kill him, you think he's down. He's not down. He returns two turns later. He has 2 stun counters on him.
He's like the Freddy or Jason of the set.
Exactly. Yeah. So he dies. He returns with 2 stun counters. He's back in the action. Zombie assassin, man. He's doing it. By the way, an assassin means that he is an outlaw. So he'll fit in nicely with that. There you
go.
He'll fit in nicely with that mechanic. He's also a zombie, which means that you can give him menace with Gisa. He is a big threat. He is a big, juicy board threat.
If it had no counters. And then there's also stuff that remove counters, too.
Exactly. So there's things that remove counters. You could put him in a Golgari and put Gisa with him, and Gisa removes up to 3 counters from a target.
Glizzy Slayer. Yeah. I'm very happy about this card. I think their kind of top 4 or 5 cards are like gonna really affect everything in a positive way, obviously. And I think we're gonna be doing stuff, man. I think we're in for a hell of a time. We have early access coming. You guys will probably see this episode on Saturday. Patrons maybe on Friday, hopefully.
Patrons, I hope to get it up Friday night for them or Friday afternoon. Yeah.
Awesome. So Saturday, and then a few days after on Saturday, you're going to be seeing us doing early access, and you can bet your ass that Jay and I are going to be trying this card in probably a few different decks, and the same with Enduring Tenacity, the same with Volgavoth. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff, man, and it's going to be fun.
It'll all be there. We're going to be early accessing. Get ready for it. Subscribe. Go check out Numbskull, twitch.tv/num_skull_. You know my Twitch. It's there too. Links are all in the description. We're ready for it, guys. We're ready to go into the haunted house.
Will we come out? Who knows?
Who knows?
We might just stay in there. It actually seems kind of fun.
Yeah.
We might have too much fun in the haunted house.
We might be having a good time because Foundations looks like I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, they have time to make it good, so we'll see what's up.
We'll see.
Thank you guys for sticking with us this long. We know it's a little bit longer of an episode, but
we had a lot to talk about. A lot of black cards to go over.
A lot to say. We still have more to say, but you'll watch us during early access, and you'll kind of hear the rest of everything that's
absolutely. So until next time, I think we're going to call this episode of the Black Council to the close. Praise Lord Valgavoth. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.